All right, all right, all right. We are live. We are live. We are live. Hello, 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 world.
Hi, everybody.
How is it going? Let me take out my headphones so y'all can hear both me and Toya. Sorry about that.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? It's me, Rajan.
And I'm Latoya.
That's right. And we are the Pursuit of Forever
Podcast.
podcast. But we're not
Welcome.
getting started yet. We are not getting started yet. We're going to give you guys some time to get in the room. We're going to share it out on our phone. Make sure you go into your devices and let people know that we are live.
Thank you.
And we would love to have you guys join us for tonight's conversation. We're talking about lighting a fire and keeping it lit. All right? Keeping it lit. So as you're coming in, make sure you say hello, say hi, say what up.
Yeah, thank you in advance for sharing.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing. And once we get to share it out, we're going to get started. I want to thank you again so much. You guys have been such an amazing support. Turn my phone all the way down. Let y'all know that we are uppy. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live, baby. Join us and tell a friend.
Hey, Detria.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hope everybody is doing well.
What's up? What's up? What's up? See y'all coming in. It must be Wednesday, right? Must be Wednesday. All right. Let's count it down, man. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. What's up?
Welcome,
What's
welcome.
up?
I'm Latoya.
I am on this podcast, we recognize that every aspiration, but to achieve it, we all work. Anyway, we have married more extra field today. We can share how this conversation can help you with long-lasting relationships and
that great marriages are possible if you're willing to do the work. So let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Now, the Pursuit of Forever podcast can now be listened to on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and more. Also, you can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. It's a little choppy, sorry. Turn this down some. All right.
Remember, you can only watch the podcast on the official Pursuit of Forever pages on Facebook, YouTube, and soon Instagram. And we are on Instagram now.
Yep.
As well as TikTok. So please make sure you follow these pages to keep up with each episode and provide us feedback. We love engagement. And you can also find it by looking up Pursuit of Forever on Anchor.
And as of today's podcast, we've actually reached 669 followers on Facebook, 159 followers on Instagram, 119 on TikTok, and 14 subscribers on YouTube. Thanks to everybody who supported us so far. And if you haven't already, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, everywhere under Pursuit of Forever. On X, we are Pursuit of the number 4ever. It's the only difference. Look us up, man. Look us up. All right. Hopefully y'all can hear us okay.
Yeah.
All right, Toya, it's time for the check-in. What you got?
Oh man. So since the last time we did the show, it's been a little break, so we kind of let everybody know that we're doing bi-weekly. A lot of things have happened. We're going to the Super Bowl. Let's start there.
We're going to the
The Niners
Super
are going to the
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Oh my
Yo,
gosh. I lost my voice. I screamed so much. My pressure was up for that game. So between that and my Duolingo lessons for Spanish, I've been going through it over here. What about you?
well, what I'll tell you is this. One, as you can obviously tell, we're not in our normal spot. So things look a little different. Things probably sound a little different than they normally would. We wanted to make sure that even though we are on location, we wanted to make sure we still were able to provide this show, because we recognize that to some people this is a very important thing, and we want to make sure that we definitely value that and be consistent in our output.
Mm-hmm.
But so for that's really what's been for me is like hanging out with you and having an opportunity to get away and do some work.
Away from doing work.
But it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Got to reconnect, and like do the things that we love to do. Mm-hmm. So travel a little bit and can't wait to get back home. Home.
We're excited. We're excited to definitely be here with you guys, and we know you are excited for us to come back. So, like Rajon said, we wanted to definitely make sure that we made it a priority to come back and see y'all. Because it must be Wednesday.
All right, somebody. So in the comment section, we need you guys, because we did our check-in. Mm-hmm. Give us one positive thing that happened. Let's say one positive thing that happened in your relationship this week, if you would like, or if you just want to do something that's just general. Let's put something positive. Let's make sure that we like to boost up positivity. We're all about talking about the good things that's happening. So tell me what's going on with you in the chat. What's up with you in the chat? And we are gonna move into our next part, which is our
It's our memes.
It's our memes of the week. Our memes of the week. So I am sharing the screen. Hopefully y'all can see the screen.
Yeah, let us know if you can't hear us as well. That'd be helpful too.
I'm looking at it on my phone. Can y'all see the screen?
And while he's doing that, I'm gonna read. So Mike said that he had date night and they had a comedy show, went to a comedy show.
That's dope. Awesome. Good job.
Comedy shows are great. Comedy shows are awesome.
Date nights are important. We're going to talk about date night in a second. Yeah, so
date nights are important.
Good job. Date night. Good job. What else? Mm-hmm. What else I got going on?
Those of y'all who just are tuning in, we're just asking, what is one great thing that you can tell us about this past week since we last spoke?
Give us some kind of check-in. Mm-hmm. Some kind of check-in. If it could be relationship related, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my meme of the week, every week we do the meme of the week and the video of the week. So my meme of the week says, a strong marriage rarely has two strong people at the same time. Pick up the slack for one another when your spouse is having a hard day. I think that's something, that again is going to sort of tie into our message today about, sparking, keeping, lighting a flame and keeping it lit.
Yeah.
Is being recognized when your partner is sort of not slacking, I don't want to say, but when your partner is having a rough one, finding ways to sort of step in and be, that support system for them.
Absolutely. I think that's important to be able to do that. So this was a good one. Making sure that, you're paying attention to what's going on with your person.
Yeah, for sure.
That you're with, and kind of, being that support for them when they need it.
Yep. Yeah. All right. And Toya's is
mine says true love isn't predictable. You never know when you're going to meet the person you fall in love with. Yeah.
You want to go into detail?
I would say for me, what this kind of means is it kind of takes away like the requirements that people have. I would say when I was younger, people would always say, when you're going to find the person you want to be with, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, and so on and so forth. But I always think it's important to make sure that people understand there's not a timeline on things in life. And when it's meant to happen, it happens. It always happens at the right time. And nothing is predictable when it comes to, with true love in your relationship. Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I would agree as well. Yeah. You tend to, we especially men, we think that, we're just gonna be able to plan things out, and when we're ready, it's gonna happen. But the truth is that sometimes it happens before you're ready. And you have to get ready, so be prepared, in the words of
that part.
Scar from The Lion King.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That's right. That's right. Yes. All right. So I'm going to come out of there. Stop sharing this screen. All right. Cool. And the next thing that we want to share with you guys are, we want to know your guys' thoughts as, we're talking about our memes of the week. Just want to share couple of things we saw where you mentioned that, Mike said they went on a date night, had a comedy show, went to a comedy show, which was great. Comedy shows are a great way to just have a quick date night. If you live in certain cities, there's comedy shows going like every day for some reason. Kiana, I see it says my husband's birthday was Sunday. I surprised him with a trip to Orlando.
Ooh.
We did dinner, wax hands, a hot air balloon. Are you tricking off?
Girl,
I like that. Trick
off
on your man, girl. And just had a blast. He still had questions about how I had our bags packed already and started driving.
Love it. We're gonna talk about that.
That's dope.
We're gonna talk about that today.
That's dope. I love that.
I
love that. Good job. Good job.
Big ups, guys.
yes, Shayla.
Awesome.
Scar did say "Be Prepared." That was his song. That was his big song. Did Scar even have another song in The Lion King?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think Scar sang on another song in The Lion King. He only sang on "Be Prepared," which is crazy because he had a beautiful voice.
Yeah, but his heart was.
He had a beautiful voice. Wasn't that Jeremy Irons? I think Jeremy Irons was Scar in Lion King. But anyway, next thing we're going to show you guys is our videos of the week. So we pull that up. He had a beautiful voice. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. We're going to put some respect on Scar.
Okay.
All right. You know what?
So we're going to share
Ray John's first. Using the right sound. I want to make sure they hear us nice and clearly. Here we go. There we go. That's the one I want y'all using. Hopefully everything is okay there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna share the screen. We're gonna do mine first, babe?
Sure.
Do yours first.
You're first.
All right. So this is mine.
Let us know again if there's any sound issues.
And mine is from this guy.
If you act like all they want is sex, what you're failing to understand is all they want is an emotional, a deep connection with their wife. If a man gets left hanging, you have now put a scar on that man's heart. It is men wanting to be loved and wanting an emotional connection with their wife. That's what they want. If you act...
All right. So that's mine.
Yeah.
That is mine.
You want to unpack that?
Yeah, sure. So first, if you heard the guy, he said, when you deny a man sex, it tends to hurt him in ways that a lot of women don't really consider, because it's like, well, I just don't want to, and we're gonna talk about lighting the flame and keeping it lit, but there is something to the fact I hear people talk all the time. I hear single people talk about it all the time about well, I don't want to get married because married dudes don't get nothing from their wives and this and that, this and that, and so it really does deter people. Like I don't want to do that. So when you are a man, especially a faithful man, right, and you're like, I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to stay monogamous in my marriage. I'm not going to cheat on my wife. But when you approach your wife, it feels like you're having to ask her to do this. It's this big deal that you have to ask her to do anything, especially sexually. It can make you want to draw back. Yeah. And because there is that scar there. I'm feeling rejected from the one person that I'm like, I all right.
Your person.
I reserve myself for you and you don't want me? Like, come on, fam. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great that he explained it in that way. I think, like you said, a lot of times, it could be a situation where, somebody, maybe just, trying to check off a box or like, okay, well, this is what guys want. And there's not really a lot of thought that goes into, making sure that you are there for that person. But like you said, when you, make that commitment and make that vow and say, this is the person that I'm going to be with, that is also a responsibility to make sure that you are, there in every aspect of the word for the person that you're with. So I think it's important to make sure that it's explained in different ways because everybody learns differently too.
For sure. And so just so you guys know, like, I want to be very clear. This episode is not for the kids. So, we want to make sure me and Toy aren't like vulgar people like that. So we don't be on there cursing or nothing like that, using foul language. But this is not an episode that, we are designing for children's viewing purposes. We are talking about intimacy. We are talking about relationships. We're talking about sex within the confines of marriage. Now, if you are not married and you want to apply the the tips that we are talking about, not rules, never rules.
Not the rules.
If you want to apply the tips that we are providing, then that's completely up to you and your situation. Everything that we talk about within the confines of Pursuit of Forever is in people who are in long-term relationships that are pursuing marriage. This is not for like hookups or one night stands or nothing like that. This is purely relationships that we talking grown folk business. Is just to keep it a buck. That was my that was a good. So you said you thought that it's good that he said it. Now
the way that he said
it. Now, as we get into the discussion, I definitely want to dig deeper because there may be some things that as a man, when you're getting rejected, you may not be considering that I want to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show that video. I think it's a great opening to this discussion that we're trying to have.
So yeah, perfect video.
All right, and then we'll go to yours, and let us know again if y'all can hear the videos. Okay, please let us know because we'll make sure that we on the videos.
Give us some thumbs up, some hearts, or something, so we know that you were able to hear it before. That would be helpful.
This is Toya's video.
Oh, babe, you look so good, so delicious. What?
Must be jam, because jelly sure don't shake like that.
Listen,
so cute.
That was cute. I love that.
Oh my gosh, I love them.
I love that. That was great.
I love them.
So why that one?
So I don't know, guys. I love love.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's cute to be able to see people from all, various age ranges still, doing the thing for their spouse. So I think it's important, like with that, compliments, you do a great job of complimenting me all the time. And for me, I think the compliments, but I don't necessarily say them. So I think it's important to kind of, make sure you verbalize certain things and you continue. So like we were saying, in our first episode 0, we were kind of talking about like, don't start something that you're not going to continue, like in a relationship, but then also whatever you do need to continue. So, I think that's one of those things too. And it also builds.
Nice.
Builds intimacy.
So let's
leads into
so let's go right into the topic.
Yeah.
Let's go right into the topic. So talking about, lighting a flame and keeping it lit. Lighting a flame and keeping it lit. So again, the flame that we're talking about is the flame of intimacy, the flame of connection, the flame of, whether that be sexual, emotional, spiritual, whatever. We definitely are talking about the sexual element of it as well. So when you think about intimacy, what do you think about?
I think of just being there for the person that you're with. Like I was saying, in every aspect of the word, kind of doing, little things for them. When you think of them, to be able to do that, having compliments whenever your mind runs on them, little things, little texts, little videos, whatever it might be, and kind of making sure that they realize and recognize that you're at the front of their mind.
Yeah, to me, I think letting them know that you're in the front of their mind, but I think also communicating with somebody in the way that they want to be communicated with is a great way to develop intimacy.
That's good.
Because so many times, like I think sometimes like you'll do things like thinking that you're showing intimacy, and I'll be like, yo, that ain't it.
Oh, really? You think I'm doing
things? Or I don't realize that you're trying to show intimacy by doing it.
I don't know.
You don't think?
I don't know. I would need like.
Do you think that sometimes there's things that I do trying to show you intimacy and you just don't realize that I'm trying to be intimate?
Possibly, yeah, definitely. I mean, there are times, but I think also too that comes into just like communication and like learning our styles of communication and how we like to be communicated to. Because sometimes, your way of showing might not necessarily be the way that the person receives that. So I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, no, so dig deeper, like go deeper.
I think for me, like I was just saying, like I don't always get it right when it comes to in the past, like things that I would do before. I would do it because, this is just something that previously worked. You know what I mean? Like
okay, so we are talking to people who don't know us. So I need you to tell them what you mean.
In a relationship, previously, I would, let's just say, okay, so in a relationship previously, I would maybe buy something or do something, kind of like set up a room or whatever it was. And then for different people, there's different things. So you kind of want to make sure you learn your person and make sure that you understand what that person that you're with actually wants. So you don't kind of keep the same thing that you did with somebody else with the new person, if that makes sense. So what works for one person may not work for the other.
Mm.
You may not be interested in those type of things. Like you're not really into like candles or certain things like that. You
I don't
kind of
mind candles.
you don't mind them, but
See?
it's not
Look
like
at us learning.
I'm saying it's not something that's at the forefront of your
Mhm.
mind when you're thinking about intimacy. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, but see, so for me, intimacy starts with like really small stuff,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
I'll give you an example, right? So they talk about like the fact that you can't, women are like microwaves, women are like crock pots when it comes to
crock pot.
intimacy, right? So I go to the grocery store.
Mhm.
If I go to the store and I'm buying stuff, I got a list of things that I need to get. But I know that you like Ferrero Rocher candies.
I do. Mhm.
So I will get you a Ferrero Rocher candy
Mhm.
and I'll bring it and I'll give it to you.
Mhm.
Now, what that says to you is, to me, it would
Thought about
says,
me.
wow, I didn't ask for this. He thought
Yeah.
about it. That was something that he knew
Uh-huh.
that would make me smile,
Mhm.
and he brought it to me.
Yeah.
To me, that's a form of intimacy. Is
Mhm.
that like sex?
No. Yeah.
But
no.
it is a form of intimacy. It's a form of showing that we're connected, that I
Yeah.
know what you like.
That part.
Similarly, if I know that you've been having a rough time with the kids,
Mhm.
and I say, hey, babe, you go out, I want you to go do something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna kick it with the kids for a
Yeah.
little bit, or I'm gonna take the kids. I'm gonna run a bubble bath.
Mhm.
You go out there. You go up there, run a bath.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make dinner real quick.
Mhm.
You just do what you need to do.
Okay.
That's a form of intimacy.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So I think intimacy to different people looks different ways.
Yeah.
I see Mike's point. He said, imagine that there's a lot of distraction in those moments, preoccupied, oblivious. We actually have some tips that I found from a great video that we're going to share. But I just wanted to sort of set a baseline
Mhm.
for when we're talking about intimacy. It's not just sex. Now, it definitely is sex
I mean,
as well.
It includes sex.
But it's not just sex. And I'm just talking about ways that are not sexual right now,
Right.
that you can sort of create intimacy. So what are non-sexual ways that you create intimacy in our relationship?
So we just discussed one of the ways. If I go to the store and I see something that I think you would like, or something that we've discussed that you are interested in, I would just get it. Previously, there was a thing that you had discussed over and over and over about wanting, which was the spaceship. And I knew that it was something that I wanted to get you, but I was just trying to figure out visually where it would fit in the house, and how I would get it without you seeing it. But
Mhm.
that didn't happen. So yeah, just trying to, like we said, figure out the little clues and tips that person is dropping, and then figuring out how you can kind of supply that without necessarily being asked to, but just showing that you are listening. So that was one of the ways.
Okay. I understand where you're going with that,
Okay.
but I slightly disagree.
Okay.
Just because, so that shows appreciation. Like that shows I know what you want. Like, and I think feeling appreciated is one way to build intimacy. So I'm not saying there's not a way to build intimacy. I'm just saying what I'm talking about is more like the little things that you do on a day-to-day. Another thing that Alexander, I'll give you an example.
Okay, well, previously I've done coffee. I've done coffee for you in the morning. When you've gotten up before I was leaving the house for work, I would make coffee for you, or set the coffee maker to make coffee for you.
Yes, like you make my lunch.
Yeah, things like that.
That was dope.
Yeah. But I also think too, like, again, it's based on the person. So you have to have those conversations. You have to have those moments where you're like, well, is that to you? Is that intimacy? Because for me, like I was just saying, the one thing I was just talking about, you're like, well, no, I actually don't think that's that. I think that's something else. Having those conversations, I think makes it, more easier for you to figure out different ways that you can kind of implement that in your relationship.
Yeah, and of course, when we talk about intimacy, when we think about like in the confines of relationships, most times when you're talking about intimacy between a man and a woman, men are mostly talking about I want you to be more intimate with me sexually. Women are mostly saying I want you to be like intimate with me, like outside of sex. So I guess in those roles, I guess we sort of need to flip it. So I talk about how I initiate intimacy with you as non-sexual, and you would do it the other way. No?
Yes.
All right, cool. So could I go first, or you?
I mean, you can.
All right, cool. So so again, we are talking about sex. So I want to start with 3 tips that I found. It said 3 tips. Where's that? Let me switch screens. And if y'all like sort of have some insights that you'd like to share as well, we definitely are willing to not only share your comments, but if you want to come on screen, we're welcome to that as well.
Yeah.
This is a big conversation. We definitely could do a whole series on this, but we don't want to do that right now. All right. So 3 tips that I found to improve the intimacy in your relationship, right? And we're going to go through these. We're going to slow walk these, right? So the first one that I see is make time for intimacy. Make time for intimacy. I'm going to flip these really quickly. Make time for intimacy. So what are your thoughts about making time for intimacy?
I think that's something that's important. Making sure that you have that just like a priority with anything else. I think it's important to put in time and make sure that whatever that looks like, you have to do. Like for us, there was times when we had to make sure we scheduled date night because we had, our schedules were so packed with everything else. So kind of making sure that you do that is also a way to make sure that that's something you're implementing.
Okay, so by making time for intimacy, like what I'm reading is anything in your life that has priority is on your calendar, right? Work is on your calendar.
Yeah.
Work is on your calendar, right? You know what time you go to work.
Yeah.
Right? You know at 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you'll be at work. So you know you got to be up by 7. You know you got to be, you get home, you'll be back home by 5, right? You know that. You know what time you go to church. If you go to Bible study, you know what time you go to Bible study. All of these things are on your calendar. And in my life, what I found is if it's not on my calendar, it's probably not going to happen.
Yep.
Right? So with date night, we couldn't just say, oh, when we get to date night, we'll do date night. What we had to say was Friday nights are date night. Period. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I believe that when you talk about intimacy, especially sexual intimacy, that also has to become a part of your schedule. I think and it doesn't have to be sexual all the time, but it definitely has to be, listen, this is our time alone. This is our alone time.
Yeah.
And that could be, okay, cool. After 9 p.m. or after 10 p.m., we putting the phones up and we just kicking it.
Yeah.
Or, however you want to do within your relationships. But I think you have to be intentional. And I think in being intentional and making time, you also have to recognize that the rest of the world is going on while you're trying to build this time for intimacy.
Right. Yeah. But I think also in those times it's important, like you said, to make a differentiation between what is important in that moment. And that is us being together, not necessarily being mommy and daddy or whoever you are and the other times during the day. Making that a priority is important. And if you are a planning person, that is something that I think will help for sure.
Okay. So what else do you have to add to that?
I think we kind of talked about just like the romantic gestures and making sure that that was something that is also done. I think too, kind of just making sure, that you are, like someone said previously, just talking about like the different love languages and how that is helpful for them in building intimacy, making that a priority to be able to learn those things and having them take that as another step in figuring out different times. So what would work best for them.
So in making time for intimacy, all right. So what things could you consider when you're trying to make time for intimacy?
Things that you could get rid of in your schedule, making sure that you're present during the times that you have, i.e. no distractions, scheduling, things like that. What do you think?
I think that things that you definitely should consider, the fact that, right, so you said schedule, right? So if I know that I have Bible study on Tuesday night can happen my date night.
Right.
I also think that there should be an element of it that is like, if we know that we don't connect on any other night during the week, that should be the night that we connect during the week. And to me, yes, that includes sex in most cases. And I think that that's a part of intimacy that we're not speaking to right now, that I would sort of like to speak to, if you will. So like in that regard, so we're making time for intimacy, we're making time to connect, but understand that in most cases, in my opinion, I may be off, but like if you don't connect any other night, like scheduling sex, like I see Brooke says it's like that movie Fun with Dick and Jane, we should have sex on Saturday. Like there are actually people that suggest scheduling the nights that you have sex. So it's like, okay, cool. Our sex nights are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And you may have sex more than that, but you can't have sex less than that unless something's going on that like health-wise. But in doing that, you are literally making time for that intimacy.
Yeah.
And sure, life is going to get in the way sometimes. That's definitely going to happen. But you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about the fact that, like, it's been 2 weeks since we've had sex.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about communication as
Yeah.
well. That's one of it. But like having it on your schedule allows you to say, and it's not just like, oh, it's Tuesday, pull your pants down now. It's like, no, like
Yeah.
it's Tuesday, let's set the mood.
Or hey, I've missed you. What's we
No.
need a plan.
Yeah, no, like
and
Tuesday,
ensure, yeah.
9 p.m. Okay, we locked in.
Mhm.
Okay, we got the music going, we got the candles going, we got the bubble bath going, whatever it is that we trying to do to set that mood for intimacy,
Right.
that should be in play.
Absolutely.
That should be in play. You know, again, crock pots versus microwaves. Like
Yeah.
you still got to warm up the crock pot. Like you still gotta
plug it in.
You gotta plug it
turn
in,
it on.
turn it on. You gotta make sure it's all that stuff. Now, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's important. I do definitely think, like you said, that sex is an important part of intimacy. And I do also think too, like if you choose a day, whatever those days are, that's something that you stick to. And you make sure, like we said, that there is no type of things that keep you from being able to do that. So kind of making sure that
chill, mama.
making sure that you have set aside that time, you prepared, whatever it might be, throughout the day, send a text or whatever it might be to kind of, get yourself together for that time that you're together. I think that's important.
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think again, you want to make sure that you are considering your partner. Like if you know your partner, and this is where that I think the one of the next part's going to come is like think about romance, right? So think about the fact that your wife or your husband has a lot going on. So if you have to ask your wife, yo, you just walked in the house, we haven't done nothing in a long time, let's do it right now. Like that's not romantic.
Oh yeah.
That's not crock pot warming. You know what I mean? You know the songs that she likes, you know her playlist. You know what I mean? Like if you don't know her playlist, create a playlist. You know what I mean? That's like that literally. So when I work, I have a playlist that I play that shifts my mind to, oh, I'm working now. It's not time to be on Facebook. It's not time to scroll on my timeline. It is time to be locked in on my job.
Yeah.
When I go to church, there's certain music that I play that says, oh, this music here lets me know, oh, we're getting ready for God. Time to lock it in. And we about to go to church and praise the Lord. And, I'm in a spiritual place now. I think similarly, when you are creating intimacy, when you're being
an environment
intentional,
of intimacy,
you have to, like that music piece is so like music.
For some people, I mean, and that may not be the thing for you guys.
Well, five senses.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think some people, it might not be a thing. But I think, like you said, it's important to have a playlist for things like that. It kind of just shows, I feel like it shows another level of intimacy that you think about those type of things, that you kind of think about, like you said, the five senses or the other aspects of things that are going on.
Yeah, I mean, so like I think like having the music set, like okay, cool. If rather you scheduling it or not, like you don't have to schedule sex. Like trust me, like I know that just sounds weird, but I promise you, it's not as weird as you think it is. And I would even suggest Mike, or anybody who may be thinking like that sounds weird. But I want you to think about it, right? If in your relationship, one of the issues is that you never get to the intimacy because so much is going on, try saying 2 nights a week, even if we do nothing the rest of the week, those 2 nights a week, we're going to be intentional about doing something. Because now, if you say, okay, cool, today is Tuesday. All right, Friday's coming up. We haven't had sex. All right, cool, she got whatever going on. But Friday's coming up. Friday gets here. She knows that there's an intention. You know that there's an intention, and you can build yourself up towards it. Yeah. Now, if you happen to have sex on other days, congrats. That's good. That's a bonus. But you should not go 2-3 weeks. Babe, we talked about it. We agreed on these days. Like, what's going on? Yeah. So I think that's that sort of. So try it out and see, and you can sort of tweak it. But try it out. I promise you will not be. It's not as weird as you think.
Yeah. And again, it's what works for you. Whatever works for you in that situation. Like you said, if that isn't something that works, go and dig a little bit deeper and find something that does work, for your scenario, if it's not.
Right. All right. And then, so we talked about romance. What's another way to build romance, to try to think about romance?
Another way to build romance? I think planning dates, doing a little bit more than what you do or you have done. Previously, if you have a situation where, it's one person that plans the dates all the time, doing a little bit more and kind of doing that yourself, planning out dates or kind of planning and setting the mood if you're not the person who normally does that for your date night and setting intimacy in that space.
Yeah, yeah. All right, and then the third tip is communicate openly and honestly. Listen, this is a big part that we miss. We miss so many times in relationships is communicating openly and honestly, and we think that somehow we're doing our partner a favor by not communicating openly and honestly. And what you're actually doing is limiting your ability to get what you need out of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use an example, right? Right. No. So I'm gonna come back to what you said, Mike, because that you're making a good point, but I want to give you the other side of what we mean by that. Right. What was the point that was on? What was the third point?
You were talking about communication.
Communication.
Yeah.
Right. How many times you see a young lady and a young man decide to part ways, and the first thing she says is, "Well, he couldn't please me anyway. He couldn't satisfy me anyway." Right? Now, how long were those people together with her feeling unsatisfied,
Mm-hmm.
in which it was not made aware to him that he's not satisfying her?
Yeah. I think it's important to be able to have and make an environment where people feel comfortable about talking. We kind of talked about communication previously, in a couple podcasts back about the importance of that. And making that person, feel comfortable to be able to share those things. They're with you, they're your person. They should be able to tell you anything. You should be able to tell them anything without feeling like, hurt by that situation or whatever it might be.
Right. So in this situation that we just talked about,
Yeah.
Okay. So you have two people in a relationship, one person not being sexually fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't tell that person that they are not pleasing you, how is that person supposed to know?
Yeah, they're not.
Especially when we're talking about like things like faking it, right? Oh, I faked it all. Cool. So to him, he's thinking he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Or to her, she thinks she's doing what she's supposed to do. If you're not actually pleasing, you're not telling your partner will never learn and they'll never be able to please you. So you have to be open and honest enough to say, listen, babe,
this ain't working.
This is not working. What you're doing is not what I need. And let's talk about ways that we can improve it. But so often we will not have that conversation.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think for a lot of people, maybe they are like ashamed to have those conversations. I think sometimes sex is taboo when you're thinking about like where we are and where we come from. That's
like
not
even
really
right
something,
now.
Yeah, something that's not discussed openly. People aren't having conversations about things that, what's normal, what's not normal, how you should have these conversations and things like that. So people, tend to be like, well, I'm not going to really share that information. I'm not going to really tell people because it's not something that you've learned.
But if I want to be with you, if I want to be with you forever, right? We're pursuing forever. What does it benefit me to not be sexually pleased? And
it doesn't benefit either person. Yeah, it doesn't benefit either person in that scenario. But again, we're talking about why people do it.
Right. So I'm talking about that's a key point is you have to be comfortable saying what you need, not just what doesn't please you, but what does please you. All right, cool. Let's try some things, right? If there's some things that you want to try and your partner hasn't tried, let them know. Hey, babe, I really like it when you blah. I want you to dot. I want you to or I've never tried this before. Let's try this. You have to be open and honest about what you want.
Yeah.
Nobody can feel a need that you don't tell them exists.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're faking it and you're not getting what you need, you better stop faking it. You're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, that's not.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
I feel like what's the point? What's the point in the situation if that's what you're gonna do? You might as well just not.
And you don't.
It's not helpful. I mean, I don't think it's beneficial in this situation. I mean, it's not helping you. If you're in a situation where you're trying to, you want to be vulnerable, you're pleasing a person, or, you want them to please you. If you're not being honest about that being a thing, again, it's not beneficial. Why would you even do that?
Okay. So what would you suggest instead?
To be honest, to be open, you know what I mean? About what you like. If there's something that you enjoy or something that you want to try, be open to having those conversations with the person that you're with. I think why not in that situation, if it's somebody that you trust and someone you love, why not be open and honest in those scenarios?
Yeah. So I want to go back to some of the topics. We don't not, but you know what? All right, cool. Let me go back. So I'm gonna go back to Michael Powell, my guy Mike. What up for Dallas, Mike? I see you, my guy. Scheduling days makes me feel like a robot when hitting it. When I'm hitting it when I get a chance. That's my lady. Like it. I don't. Hopefully, I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
You
So
gotcha.
what I'm telling you is this, Mike. In your situation, if you have a situation in your relationship where you are having sex regularly and you're fine, then this doesn't apply to you, just like everything else, right? But if you're in a situation where you are going long periods of time in your relationship where you are not having sex, one of the ways to correct that issue is to put it on your calendar, just like dates, right? If you regularly go on dates, you don't need to schedule a date night.
Yeah.
Right. But if you know that one of the things that we struggle with is creating time for one another and being able to make sure that we're being intentional about the time that we have together, it's a great idea to put it on your calendar because to put it on your schedule, because again, like everything else, right now, once you got it on your, once you built that regularity, maybe you take it off the calendar and you don't need it there anymore. But having that there is extremely beneficial if you are struggling with the things that I was mentioning earlier. I see Leticia, how you going, Leticia? Grice, that's her fault. She didn't tell him how she wanted to be pleased. Absolutely. Just going back to that point about faking it. You know, you can't fake it till you make it. That's not how it works in sex or in intimacy. Like you have to actually tell somebody what you want so that they can learn. And they're gonna learn over time. If somebody wants to be with you forever, they're gonna take the time to do the work that it takes to get you there. And there's so many books and podcasts and TV shows. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have this, you know, and I don't want to overtalk if you please jump in when you want, is because the conversation around sex and intimacy is really being domineered by people that are single.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not even expected now that people who are in relationships have sex that way. I even think about like on movies, right? On movies, the people that are having sex on the movies are always the people that are like single and just running around in the streets.
Yeah, in the streets.
Right? If like they'll be and it'll be like crazy sex scenes when it's people that's like, oh, they're single, they just hopping from club to club. They'll even like juxtapose, you know, that whole thing, like, oh, their life is so exciting, they're having so much sex and they're just getting it in, and then they'll show them with their wife, and either they don't show the husband and wife having sex, or if they have sex, it's really boring sex.
Yeah. Which just
so again, the media pushing certain narratives, right, about what sex is like in a marriage. And what we want to say here at Pursuit of Forever is it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, I think it comes again with education, feeling comfortable, being willing to share that. That's not a thing.
Yeah. All right. Bobby said, my generation baby boomers are typically uncomfortable about talking about having sex, talking about sex. I'm surprised to hear that younger couples are not having these conversations. Miss Bobby, I will tell you, not only are younger couples not talking about how they actually want to be pleased, younger couples are not talking about very basic things like what's your credit score before they get
in general,
like in like long-term relationships. But like in a marriage, like if you don't establish that as the standard in your relationship, when does that become established?
Yeah.
If we don't communicate about little things, then how are we going to talk about the fact that you're not pleasing me?
Yeah.
Because we're really good at sharing information that makes us happy.
Absolutely.
But what about what makes us unhappy? How do we communicate in an effective way?
Yeah. I think again too, it just comes from, you know, being able to have those conversations and opening yourself up to the opportunity to do so. I think a lot of times we're not raised around people who necessarily have taught us how to have those conversations. And so sometimes you're kind of learning things on the spot. And so sometimes you'll have a person that you're with who is like, yo, well, we're not going to not communicate about these things, or this is how we're going to have these conversations. And those things help too. So you definitely have helped me with that. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say communicate. Like if you're in that situation where you are going long periods of time without having sex, listen, say something.
Yeah.
Say something. Don't just be like, oh, she know we ain't had sex. She know what I need. She know I'm a man. I got needs. No, talk to her. Hey, yo, it has been 7 whole days. What's going on? It has been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What's going on? nothing says that when you get married. In fact, the Bible says that the married bed is undefiled. So when you get married, you're supposed to be having the sex. Like the single people, I ain't no casting no aspersions or whatever. I'm just saying, like, with the married people, like that's when you're supposed to have sex.
Yeah.
And so if you are in your marriage and you're not having sex or you're not having fulfilling sex, you need to be open, and honest, and care enough about your marriage, because what I don't want is to go unfulfilled and then seek outside my home to get those needs fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Especially, when there's something as simple as a conversation and some kind of plan for, some kind of reconciliation when it comes to those type of things. But again, like you said, Rajon, if it's not something that's made, a point to having being said, people are just going on thinking certain things are good when they're not. So be honest. Being dishonest in those situations is not going to help you. And it's definitely not going to fulfill you in your relationship. So
yeah. All right. So if y'all have any thoughts, any comments, any suggestions that you would like to drop into the comment section, we definitely would love to have those there.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. If y'all had any questions, I actually had a question that I received.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna just go through and see if I find any. Definitely. Hey guys. Hey Beulah. Let's see. Good information. Thank you. And again, like Rajon was saying, if there's any, tips or things that you guys have found that have worked for you, or have been beneficial when it comes to things like that, and as far as growing intimacy in a relationship, please make sure you let us know. We're family here. We're all just trying to, share information and better people in their pursuit of forever.
All right. I'm just pulling this question.
You got it.
I'm trying to find it. I know it was from, but I can't find the question. Oh, this is so annoying.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll find it.
It's been way too many times, too many texts. I can't find it.
That's okay. We'll share it on the page if we're unable to find it now.
Yeah, you can't find it. All right. So if you have any questions or anything like that you'd like to share, please let us know. And we always looking for like questions of the week. So by all means, like if you have a question for the week that you'd like for us to, something you'd like for us to go over and talk about, please do. We'd love to answer any questions that you guys may have. And we try to, again, we're not experts, we're not, professionals in this. We're literally just sharing our experiences from our lives to try to help people who may be struggling. And so if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them.
Yeah. We also were saying that we do have a resource that we can provide them.
Yeah, and then the resource that I found for this week is actually a video that I used to pull up the 3 tips. I also want to just go and throw out a quick plug to my homegirl. Dang, I forgot her name. Eva and Jonathan Singleton, who have the Love Life Legacy podcast. They do an amazing job. Another great podcast, Married for Real. I can't remember my guy's name that does that podcast, but they also have an amazing platform there that we follow on our page. We definitely believe in the importance of being connected and sharing information. Not just our stuff. It's not about bigging ourselves up. We really want to help edify marriages as much as we possibly can. I see you, Beulah May. What up, my girl? You already know. Yes, Marriage for Real is good. They're definitely good. All right, cool. So I think we went over the topic of the day and what we wanted to discuss on it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So with that being said, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing your thoughts and opinions. Be sure to tune in next time. That's all things love, marriage, and parenting, and more.
If you have any questions or comments about this podcast, please make sure you email us at gmail@pursuitofforever@gmail.com. In the meantime, please make sure you also follow us on Facebook, Instagram under Pursuit of Forever, and on X at the @Pursuit4Ever.
And look for special announcements about our upcoming couples retreats and workshops.
In closing, always remember, forever is worth the work. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.